Okay, let's do this. In 3, 2, 1. It's Thrive time. Hello beautiful people, welcome back to Thrive Out Loud. And as always, it is such a joy sitting on the other side of the mic, sharing a little bit of myself with you. Today I wanted us to have a little chat about being planted. You know, things have been weird, crazy at most over the last couple of months, and I couldn't help but take notice at how it's all been a season of planting. Unfortunately, I needed to be snatched out of a position of comfort so I could be planted elsewhere and slow down and notice when God is speaking. He's been giving me clues all along, and I just feel so silly that I've missed every single one of them, but not all is lost. I am grateful for life, grateful to still be here doing what I'm doing right now, and more importantly, I'm grateful for you. Thank you so much for taking a minute out of your time to give this a listen, because sometimes being planted and being buried, they may look the same, they may feel the same, but they're not necessarily the same thing. Being planted is an intentional thing undertaken by a higher being. If you believe in God, it's done by God. If you believe in Allah, it's done by Allah. If you believe in whatever higher power that you feel fuels you, drives you, and guides you, then we'll take it as that. But this is a thing done specifically to elevate you, specifically to change your direction, to redirect you, to place you in a different position, to get you in position, to get you to change your perspective. Because sometimes we hold on to an idea of ourselves that we have created. We didn't even consult God, didn't even ask if this was the version of yourself that He wanted for you. But because it makes you happy, because it makes you feel comfortable, it makes you feel safe, you hold on to it and you think that maybe this is the you're supposed to be. And it is only with being snatched out of your comfort, out of the cushioning of your comfort, that you'll realize, oh, wait, this hasn't been it. You thought this was it, but it actually hasn't been it. So what inspired today's topic is a sermon I was listening to by T.D. Jakes and his daughter Sarah Jakes Roberts, and it led me to the word of today, which is in Luke 8 verse 4 to I think 15. So it says, while a large crowd was gathering and the people were coming to Jesus from town after town, he told this parable. A farmer went out to sow his seed. As he was scattering the seed, some fell along the path. It was trampled on, and the birds ate it up. Some fell on rocky ground, and when it came up, the plants withered because they had no moisture. Other seed fell along thorns, which grew up with it and choked the plants. Still, other seed fell on good soil. It came up and yielded a crop 100 times more than was sown. When he said this, he called out, "Whoever has ears to hear, let them hear." His disciples then asked what this parable meant. He then said, "The knowledge of the secrets of the kingdom of God has been given to you, but to others I speak in parables, so that though seeing they may not see, though hearing they may not understand. This is the meaning of the parable. The seed is the word of God. Those along the path are the ones who hear, and then the devil comes and takes away the word from their hearts, so that they may not believe and be saved. Those on the rocky ground are the ones who receive the word with joy when they hear it, but they have no root. They believe for a while, but in the time of testing they fall away. The seed that fell among thorns stands for those who hear, but as they go on their way, they are choked by life's worries, riches, and pleasures, and they do not mature. But the seed on good soil stands for those with a noble and good heart, who hear the word, who retain the word, and by persevering produce a crop. So obviously, from the word that we've just read, we learned that there's different types of seeds and different types of, I'd say, positions or different types of environments. So you could all be the same kind of seed, but because of the environment that you're planted in, because of the environment that you are thrown in, because of the place where you find yourself and the conditions in that place, it then determines what you produce. It then determines whether you become a fruitful crop or just a useless crop that was thrown and eaten by birds. So which makes me ask the questions for today. Where are you right now? Where do you think you're planted? As a person looking around at the environment where you're in, the people you're with, the types of things you associate with, the types of things that you get yourself into, what type of soil are you planted in? Where are you and where are you going? Are you a crop that was thrown just along the road where you'll get trampled and eaten up by the birds? Or are you a crop that was thrown amongst thorns that will get choked up by everything that life has to throw at you? Or are you a crop that has been thrown on good soil? A crop that has been thrown on soil that has moisture, that gets the right amount of sunlight, has the right amount of nutrients, all those that are enough to make you fruitful and make sure that whatever endeavors you touch, whatever you get up to, turns into gold. Where is God in your plans? Are you aligned with God? Have you aligned your plans to the plans that God has for you? You know, sometimes we make this grave mistake of setting up our to-do lists. You know, the year's coming to an end, and some have already drawn up their vision boards. Some have already drawn up their 2023 resolutions. You know, people have sorted out the coming year. They are already confident in the goals that they've set, and not that there's anything wrong with that. I really applaud you for that. But I'm just wondering, in you drawing your plans, where is God in your plans? Are your plans aligned to His? Or are you just hoping that He will catch up with your mandate? Are you just hoping that because He is a good God and a gracious God and a merciful God, at some point He will just catch up, get on with the program? If you want a house with a white picket fence by mid 2023, is He just supposed to, get on board with that regardless of what His plans are for you? It just makes me wonder, where is God in your plans? The plans that you set for yourself and for your life, where exactly do you place God? Right in the beginning, somewhere in the middle, or only at the end if things are not coming out the way you wanted, if the cake you're baking is not coming out as the cake you intended for it to be? Where along the line do we place God in our plans? Do we acknowledge the presence of God in the plans that we make? Do we acknowledge His presence in our lives in the plans that we make? Do we acknowledge His position in our lives? Do we acknowledge who He is before making any plans? Do you surrender to His will over your life before making any plans? Okay, I truly do not mean to ramble, which is what it might sound like to a person who feels like, but what are you on about? The environment you're in, where are you planted? Are you planted by God, or are you planted by the world? Are you just trampled somewhere along the road? Are you thrown somewhere in the thorns? Are you in good soil? And what is it that you're doing about the environment you find yourself in? Because let's face it, life gets difficult, and some people are just dealt heavy blow after heavy blow, and they can't seem to catch a break. But in all of that, what environment have you been planted in? And what is it that you're doing about the environment you're planted in? Are you taking advantage of the fact that you were thrown in the thorns, and therefore you really don't need to do much because your life is already set up to be a disaster anyway? Are you taking advantage of the fact that you know you're planted in good soil, so you don't put in any work to improve yourself, to work on yourself, and to just treat people with kindness and love, because that is what God has in mind for all of us? What are you doing about the environment you've been planted in? I want us to take away from today and just to pay attention to from today is, where are you going? What environment are you planted in, and what kind of crop do you think you'll produce based on the environment that you're in? Are you being watered in the environment that you're in? Do you feel like you're being nurtured? You've been well fed? Are you receiving enough sunlight? Those don't necessarily have to be taken in a literal light, but we just sometimes need to take account of where we are and what it's doing for us, how it's benefiting us. More important than everything else is where God is in our plans, because sometimes we only pay attention to the type of house you live in, the type of clothes you're wearing, the complex you're living in, the friends you have, what social settings you guys go to, what you're consuming on a day-to-day basis. We live in such a superficial world, and it just worries me, because where is God in all of that? And where are you in all of that? Where are you? So take cognizance of where you are planted, where you are rooted, and the types of crops or the types of fruits you are producing. Hey there! Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of Thrive Out Loud, a space where we unearth and explore different topics around self-awareness, self-acceptance, and self-improvement, all on our terms. If you loved giving this a listen, please leave a massive thumbs up and a review, letting me know exactly what stood out for you and how you resonated with today's topic. If you have a cool new topic you'd like us to dissect and discuss, I'd love to hear back from you. Please don't be shy to reach out. I'll be sure to leave my details down below, or wherever it is that you're listening from. Please do interact with the podcast. Don't just live, thrive.